The pen is mightier than the sword. So, is this my shield? No, of course not. But this has replaced the pen for many students in America. This famous quote was coined by English author Bulwer Lytton in 1839, stating the power of the written word for creating change. This still holds true today. After homeschooling for 13 years, I enrolled my children in public school, and I soon discovered many changes since I was a child. One of those changes was with cursive writing. Eliminated by Common Core in 2009, time and technology took precedence, and keyboarding skills replaced the pencil and paper. Millions of Americans can read and write in cursive, but what about the next generation? The children that are in school right now, some already graduating and entering the workforce. The children that are going to grow up to run our country, they're not going to be able to read or write in cursive. And they will lack the benefits that cursive writing has on the brain as well. Cursive writing is needed throughout high school for better cognitive development and the ability to read handwritten materials. First, cursive writing is needed for better cognitive development. The act of writing in cursive makes learning easier. Specifically, there is a core recognition of the gesture in the written word, a sort of recognition by mental simulation in your brain, says Stanislas Dehaene, a psychologist at the College of France in Paris. In other words, it's kind of like muscle memory for your brain. Pam Mueller of Princeton and Daniel Oppenheimer from the University of California in Los Angeles, both psychologists, have reported that both in laboratory settings and in the classroom, students learn better when they take notes by hand versus typing them on a keyboard. Also, according to Jamie Menard, with a master's in reading, researchers state that learning cursive improves the student's motor skills and visual skills as well. The actual act of practicing cursive handwriting improves and develops the dexterity in their hands and fingers, skills that are much needed in many of today's professions, such as being a surgeon, a dentist, a mechanic, computer techs, even artists. Also, creative writing stimulates the brain in a specific way. A study by Virginia Berninger, a psychologist at the University of Washington, found that children in grades 2 through 5 demonstrated that printing, cursive, and typing on a keyboard are all associated with distinct and separate brain patterns. Each one contributes to brain functions differently. We cannot rely on just one. A 2012 study by Karen James found that when children had drawn a letter freehand, they exhibited increased activity in 3 areas of the brain that are activated in adults when they read or write. In contrast, children who typed or traced the letters of the shape showed no such effort. So let's make our hands multilingual, adding cursive to our keyboarding skills. Because we see that not only does cursive stimulate our brains, it makes learning easier. So, now that we're practicing our writing and our brains are humming, what do we do with it? Cursive writing is absolutely necessary to be able to read handwritten documents, letters, and important papers. Most of our historical documents are written in cursive, and we must be able to read them for ourselves. For example, our nation's 2 most important documents, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, are both written in cursive. And it would be unwise to strictly rely on others to do the translating for us when it is our freedom that we are talking about. My 11-year-old daughter was introduced to cursive writing when I was teaching her at home. She practiced every day just like her older brothers. But upon entering public school, they do not practice it or use it at this age. When I showed her a reproduction of the Declaration of Independence recently, she couldn't read it. She had no idea how to decipher it. And though not a national treasure, my great-grandmother's recipes would become a lost piece of art. Family letters, or the precious words penned by our soldiers during the World Wars, they're invaluable and irreplaceable, and also written in cursive. Being able to read cursive is also critical for today's workforce. As the state of Indiana was deciding how to approach cursive writing in the classroom during the Common Core transition, Glenda Ritz of the Indianapolis Business Journal wrote that cursive writing enables students to have equity in employment opportunities upon graduation. She shared this story about a neighbor in her article. A healthcare facility was planning a fundraising event that would need many volunteers. A young woman approached the neighbor and offered to assist with the planning and was asked to take the handwritten, completed volunteer cards and place them in a database. However, the work was done unsatisfactory due to all the spelling errors. The young woman admitted she could not read cursive writing on the cards because she hadn't learned it in school. There are multiple ways that cursive is still used in today's society. Doctors still write notes in cursive, and though most businesses are run through computers and the internet, many people still submit complaints, compliments, handwritten. What about signing our own name, our signature? That's a pretty important skill to have. To sign a check, to sign a contract. In conclusion, my purpose has been to show you not only the many ways that cursive writing benefits the brain, but also the importance of keeping writing alive, to be read, enjoyed, and embraced. Cursive writing through high school is needed to help keep our brains busy and active from childhood to old age, and give us the skills and the ability to read handwritten materials. So parents, teachers, school officials, let's take action. Practicing or deciphering even just a few sentences every day will help keep cursive alive. Keep writing to keep learning. The pen is indeed mightier than the sword, so hold it tight and wield it well.